afternoon, everybody. Hey, before we start, we're not as big as we used to be. These bleachers were made for way more students than are currently enrolled at Merrill High School. So for the benefit of the speaker, we're going to do something. Mrs. Heimel, can you stand, please? I would like everybody behind Mrs. Heimel all the way across to kind of scoot down. Mr. Short, can you stand, please, Mr. Short? Everybody to Mr. Short's right. Squeeze this way. With the exception of these guys. You guys can stay. You guys can stay. This side looks pretty good. You guys comfortable there? We'll stay? Okay, we'll have to stay. All right, that looks pretty good. Thank you. See, we have a real opportunity here for you today. I can have your attention. Probably close to about 40 years ago, some members in our community decided to get together and start something called the Great Speakers Forum. And the Great Speakers Forum is an opportunity for our students to get exposed to bigger ideas from around the country by having big speakers come in and special keynote speakers come in and address our students. So the community members got together and said, hey, let's raise some money for our students so that we can have a speaker come to the high school, we can have a speaker come to the middle school and address our students and expose them to bigger things. Well, this has been going on for about 40 years, and none of this would be possible if we didn't have very generous community donations. So all this is made possible today, as it has been for almost 40 consecutive years, through donations from our community supporting this Great Speakers Forum. And since that time, I believe it started in 1977, the first speaker was in 1978. Since that time, we've had Olympians and professional athletes and astronauts and all kinds of great people with great stories to share, including last year's big elephant, little elephant thing. Was that last year? Yeah. So today we have that opportunity again with the awesome speaker that's here to share a message with you as well. Now the speakers are chosen by a committee of people, which includes a student from each grade starting in the 6th grade. We happen to have some of those students on our own student body, and I'll introduce them starting with, where's Adam Dieter? Adam, could you stand please? There's Adam Dieter, everybody. Thank you, Adam. The next two students that I'm going to introduce are also on this Great Speaker Committee to help us choose the speakers, but I'm going to have them introduce the speaker. So how about a nice warm round of applause for Hannah and
Thank you, Mr. Murray. All right. Joel Penton is a graduate of The Ohio State University and played 5 years of football for the Buckeyes. He was a member of 3 Big Ten championship teams and was a member of 1 national championship team. Joel was also a 4-time academic All-Big Ten selection. In his senior year, Joel received the prestigious Danny Warfel Trophy, also known as the Humanitarian Heisman. The trophy is a national award that recognizes one college football player in the entire country who best combines outstanding community service with athletic and academic achievement.
Joel now travels the country and has spoken at over 500 schools and to more than 500,000 people nationwide. Now here's a short video to help introduce Joel. Mr. Joel Penton.
All right, how's everybody doing? Well, I tell you what, growing up in Ohio, going to school, whether it was elementary school, middle school, high school, or college, if there was one thing I think I loved the most, it probably had to be getting out of class. Anybody else? Yeah, I'm here for you. You're welcome. Now I know that I'm from Ohio, I'm all the way over here in Wisconsin, but do we by chance have like any Ohio State fans at all? Are there any Buckeye fans? All right, there's like 3. That's cool. So let me guess, where's all the Wisconsin Badger fans? Now I played some good games against Wisconsin, but in Ohio, you know, the big time rivalry is Ohio State versus Michigan. Now we don't have any Michigan fans in this. Hold up. Who is that dude? Who is that? You know what? I saw a few hands go up. I saw some dude up there, whatever, who cares. But that dude put his hand up really fast and then gave me some spirit fingers or something, which made me feel weird inside. And then he just kind of sat back and he was like, oh yeah. Who is that guy? What's his name in the red shirt? Who is that guy? What's his name? Tyler? Tyler's a Michigan fan? Hey, Tyler. Why don't you come here for a second? Tyler. Yes? Tyler, so what's the deal, man? You're like a Michigan fan? Yep. Okay. Well, you know, Tyler, sometimes people see that sack I had against Michigan. Did you catch that in the video? Yeah. Okay. Well, sometimes people see that and they ask me questions about it. You know, they come up to me and they ask me things like, Joel, you know, how did you make that play? You know, what did you do to get that sack against Michigan? And Tyler, sometimes people even ask me if I would be so kind as to demonstrate that play. What do you guys think? You guys think I should demonstrate? Tyler, dude, I don't know what happened to all your friends, but I didn't hear anybody say no. And some girl up there just shouted, kill him. It's kind of messed up. But here's the thing, Tyler, here's the thing, man. I'm not going to demonstrate, okay? I'm not, because... Hold up. What kind of school is this? No, I'm not, because Tyler, the truth is, dude, I'm not mad at you for being a Michigan fan. I love the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, and so I want to show everybody here in Wisconsin there's no hard feelings between me, the Ohio State guy, Tyler, the Michigan fan. So Tyler, I actually have a gift for you. Yeah, thanks. And that gift, no, it's not a hug. It's weird. No, the gift for me to you, dude, is your very own picture of me sacking the Michigan quarterback. So Tyler, nice to meet you. Give him a round of applause. Nice guy. Oh, it's terrible. All right, well, I'll tell you, when I was in high school, we had a bit of a class rivalry type thing going on. I don't know if you guys are into that here. I kind of like to encourage that type of thing. So how about this, just to get us started this afternoon, when I shout out your graduation year, you make some noise, okay? That's how we'll start. And we will start top. We'll start at the top, so make some noise. Class of 2015. Some guy over there sounded like he was dying. I want to see a position. All right. Next, make some noise, class of 2016. There are 18 people in that class. Next, make some noise, class of 2017. You guys are barking. All right. And finally, let's get started. I need some volunteers. First, I need 7 ladies to volunteer. 7 ladies. 7 ladies. I'll take you. All right, I'll take you tonight. Okay, I'll take you. Who else can I see this next right there? I guess I have 9. That's fine. You guys come on down. Now I need 9 dudes. I need 9 guys. I was thinking. Up to this black line, just the ladies. And you guys go ahead and spread out just a little bit. Ladies, spread out just a little bit. Did I get too many guys? Just 10 guys? Oh, man. I need one more girl. Oh, right here. Come on. Yeah. All right, now I need all the guys to fill in between the girls. All the guys fill in between the girls. Fill in between. This guy girl all the way across. Now I need all the guys to turn 90 degrees to your left and face that wall over there. That's their left too. I need all the girls to turn 90 degrees to your right. That is your new dance partner. I'm just kidding. You guys can fist for it. I'm just kidding. I know. All right, here's what we're really going to do. Everybody take like 3 steps that direction. Everybody take like 3 steps to your right. Okay, here's what we're really going to do. I'm going to make some statements, okay? I'm going to say some things. Now, if you agree with a statement I make, if you agree, I need you to walk over to this side of the gym, over here, kind of by Ian. That's if you agree. But if you disagree, I need you to come way over here to this side of the gym, kind of over here by
Sam.
That's disagree. So agree's over there, disagree's over there. Does that make sense? You guys got it? You sure? Okay, some of you still look a little confused. So if at any point you forget the rules, if you forget, we got a little cheat sheet for you. Right there. All right. Now these first couple are just to make sure you understand the rules, okay? Just to make sure we're on the same page. 2 + 2 is 4. Agree or disagree, just to make sure we're on the same page. 2 plus 2 is 4. All right, and again, just to make sure you understand the rules, 2 plus 2 is 5. Agree or disagree? 2 plus 2 is 5. Good luck, ladies. Good luck. Getting more difficult, more personal. How about this? Let's say you go to somebody's house. You go to a party, you're hanging out. Tyler's there. He's dancing. And people at that party start drinking alcohol. You would leave that party. You would leave. Agree or disagree? It's okay to swear, it's okay to curse, as long as you don't hurt anyone's feelings. Agree or disagree? It's okay to swear, it's okay to curse. In school, it's okay to look at somebody else's paper as long as you're just checking your answers. Agree or disagree? Okay, how about this? Let's say you go to the store and you buy something at the store for exactly $19. 19. So you give the cashier 20, but instead of giving you a 1 back, the cashier accidentally gives you a 10. You are going to give that extra money back to the cashier. Agree or disagree? You're giving it back. It's okay to spend the night at your girlfriend or boyfriend's house. Agree or disagree? It's okay. Okay, one more. Last one is just for you guys on this side, okay? This isn't for you guys. It's a hypothetical, you have to listen up closely, okay? If you had a daughter who was in high school, you would allow her to spend the night at her boyfriend's house. Agree or disagree? I got a few of them. Good night. Give a round of applause. Guys, thanks for having me. Thank you. Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for helping me out with that experiment. You know, I love to do the experiment we just did down here. I love to bring people down front, see what they're going to do in front of everybody. And really what we just did right here with this agree-disagree thing, it actually has a lot of application. But before I get into that, you know, it seems like all the time people come up to me and people say things to me like, hey Joel, dude, it looks like so much fun to do something like play college football. You know, people come up to me and they say, hey man, it looks like fun to be able to run into the stadium, play in front of 100,000 people. They say, man, it looks like fun to play on TV in front of millions. And dude, does it look like fun to be able to sack the Michigan quarterback? And win championships and be on the video game and stuff like that. You know, people always say that stuff to me, but you know, it's kind of weird because nobody ever seems to come up to me and say things like, hey Joel, dude, it looks like so much fun to wake up every morning at 6 a.m. and run until you have to throw up. And dude, it looks like fun then to go to class for several hours, but then to come back to practice for a couple hours, then study the video of that practice for a couple more hours, then lift weights for a couple hours after that, all before going back to class in the evening in what used to be your free time. And dude, does it look like fun to not be able to schedule a vacation in the summer because you go to class and you practice all summer long? I tell you, people don't usually say that stuff to me because, guys, the truth is that as fun as it is, and as really cool as it is to do something like play college football, honestly, it takes a lot of hard work, you know, and it takes a lot of one big thing, and that is commitment. I mean, really, it takes somebody with the willingness to make the right commitments in their life, but then even more importantly, to actually keep those commitments. Because, listen, I don't know if you guys have been noticing what I've been noticing, but I think it's becoming more common for people to make commitments. Whether it's New Year's resolutions, relationships, or the latest diet, or whatever. I mean, people make commitments all the time, but I also think it's becoming more common for people to then break their commitments. And if you think about it, I bet it's safe to say there's not a single person in this gym right now who hasn't been impacted by somebody breaking a commitment. And so, you know, I'll just tell you what I've learned in my life, and that's that what can seriously set you apart from people around you in literally every aspect of your life, whether it's athletically, academically, your personal life, whatever. What can set you apart and enable you to do something incredible is not just your ability to make the right commitments, but it's your ability to then follow through, to stand your ground, and to simply keep your commitments. I'm telling you, if you can figure out how to do that one thing, how to just stand your ground and do what you say you're going to do, I'm telling you, you'll do something incredible. And I only say that because I've learned that in my own life. You know, I've learned that making my own commitments. The first commitment I remember making in my life, I actually made when I was in 7th grade, okay? But the story actually starts before that. When I was 9 years old, my life totally changed because at the age of 9 is when I was introduced to the game of football. Where's the football players in the room? What's up? At the age of 9 is when I started playing, and I'll tell you what, I immediately fell in love with the game of football. I absolutely loved it, and I can tell you exactly why I love football so much, okay? I just loved, at the age of 9, I loved being a small child, putting on these little plastic pads, and then running around as fast as I could, and then just slamming my body into other small children. Maybe that's weird, I don't know. But I just loved it. I started playing as a little kid when I was 9. But when I got into middle school in 7th grade, I remember making a commitment. Looking back now, it seems a little corny or whatever, but I remember being in 7th grade saying, you know what, I love the game of football, and so I'm just going to be the best football player I can possibly be. I remember telling my parents, telling myself, telling everybody that that's my commitment. But then I realized I made that commitment. Now I had to try to actually keep it. And so I started working really hard. Like every night before I went to sleep when I was in middle school, I started doing as many push-ups and as many sit-ups as I could. And I even did crazy things. Like when I was in 8th grade, I literally carried this little rubber ball around school, squeezing it to work on my forearm strength. Like some little psycho or something, you know? But again, you know, it was just because, you know, I wanted to keep my commitment. And there's something else I did, and that's that I surrounded myself with some friends who were kind of like me. You know, I found a group of friends, a group of guys who also wanted to be good at something, whether it was a sport like me, or music, or school, or whatever. But you know, I found some friends who also wanted to work hard. And so we started hanging out, and we actually became one of those tight-knit groups of friends, so that everything we did together. You know, we didn't do anything apart. We were really close. And as a group, we would talk about all kinds of stuff. One of the things we talked about all the time was, how are we going to be different? You know, like, how are we as a group really going to leave our mark on our school? And so we looked around, and I'll tell you, we just made some simple observations. We looked at people who were older than us, because we were like in 8th grade at the time, and so we looked at people in our high school, people who were your age, and I tell you, we noticed something really interesting. We noticed that oftentimes there were these people in our high school who had great talent, great ability, people with just incredible potential. But a lot of times these same people with all this talent would then just throw it away. You know, like, they'd start getting into the wrong stuff. Like, they'd get in with the wrong group of friends, or into the party scene, or whatever. But what we noticed as a group of middle schoolers was that as soon as these people would get into the wrong stuff, that's exactly when they would begin to fail. And they wouldn't reach their potential. And so as a group, we just decided together not to get into those things. You know, we just said that even if everybody else did, even if everybody in our school got into the wrong stuff, whether it was partying or whatever, we said not us, because we wanted to be different. Well, it got to be my junior year of high school. We're the juniors. Got to be like early winter, like December of my junior year, when one weekend on a Friday night, one of the guys in my small group of friends went out with a different group, and he got drunk. Well, the rest of us in the group, you know, we were surprised because we decided not to do that. But we didn't really know what to do about it at the time, and so we didn't do anything about it. We didn't even say anything to the guy. Well, it just so happened the next weekend, that same guy went out with that other group again, but he took another guy from our group with him. The next weekend, another, and then another. You guys know how it goes. And before I knew it, I was the only one in the group not going out on the weekends getting drunk. And so I was kind of just thrown into that situation, you know, where I had to decide if I was going to go and drink with the guys. Well, I knew right away that if I wanted to keep my commitment, I couldn't do that. You know, I couldn't go out drinking. But then I had to make another decision. I had to decide if I was going to go and hang out with my friends while they were drinking. Well, that seemed like a great idea at first, and so I tried that. But I learned pretty quickly that it was a bad idea because, you know, the temptation was there. I felt like I was encouraging my friends to do the wrong thing. And I knew that if they got caught and I was with them, I was going to be in just about as much trouble. And so I just knew that if I really wanted to keep my commitment, then I couldn't be with my friends while they were drinking. But I tell you, it seemed like all of a sudden, all my friends wanted to do was drink. You know, like every Friday, every Saturday, the same thing, the guys were partying. And so all of a sudden, I wasn't spending like any time with my tight-knit group of friends. And little did I know, while I wasn't spending time with my friends, a bit of resentment or hard feelings or whatever started to grow in my friends towards me. They started to develop a certain idea. You might be familiar with this type of idea. My friends started thinking to themselves, well, Joel won't go drink with us, so he must think he's better than us. That type of thing. Well, I didn't realize that was going on. You know, I had like no clue at the time. And so a whole month went by that I had been involved in some weekend wrestling tournaments, and my friends were always partying, and so like a whole month went by there in the late winter of my junior year of high school that I just hadn't hung out with my friends like at all. And so I decided one night, the first Friday I had free after wrestling season, I just said, you know what, I should see my friends tonight. I should try to hang out with the guys at least until they start drinking, because it's just been too long. And this is my one close group of friends. And so I knew where my friends were hanging out. I drove to my friend's house and I found the guys. They were just like hanging out in the driveway. And so I pulled up and I said, hey guys, what's up? What's going on? And they were like, oh, hey Joel. You know, I didn't catch the vibe though. And so I said, well, what are we doing tonight? And they said, oh, well, we're going to this guy's house. And so I said, cool, how about half you guys jump in with me? Because they just had like one little car for like all 7 of them. And I was actually rolling my mom's Buick at the time, which was awesome. And so, you know, I said, half of you jump in the Buick, you know, we'll go together. But they were like, oh, no, that's okay. We'll all go with this guy. So like all 7 of them crammed into one car. It was a little weird, but at the time, you know, I didn't even think about it. I thought, no big deal. We'll go to my friend's house. We'll hang out. And so we drove to my friend's house. I followed the guys over there. At one point, we got split up, but I thought, no big deal. You know, I'll just go to the guy's house where we agreed to meet. And so I went to my friend's house, and I parked my car, and I waited for the guys, and I waited, but they didn't show up. Again, I didn't think anything of it though, because you see, I didn't happen to have my phone on me at the time, and so I thought, well, I'm sure my friends just changed their plans. They're probably trying to get a hold of me right now, but I don't have my phone, and so I should probably just go find them. And so I went looking around my hometown. I'm from kind of a small hometown where there's like nothing to do. I don't know if you guys can relate to that here. Merrill. But, you know, not many places to hang out. And so eventually I found them. You know, I found the car that they were driving that night parked at my friend's house. And so I thought, great, found the guys. And so I parked my car in the driveway, went up to the front door. As I passed the front window, I just so happened to take a quick glance inside, and I saw my friends sitting there on the couches watching TV. I thought, great, found the guys. So I went up to the front door, and I knocked on the front door. My friend's brother answered the door, and as he opened it, I started to step in, and I said, the guys are here? But he stepped in front of me and he said, no, the guys aren't here. And that's when I figured it out. I said, okay. So I went back to my car. This time, as I passed the front window, the blind had been pulled so I couldn't see it. Got back in my car and I went home. I'll never forget going home that night and sitting down and, to be honest with you, feeling pretty crushed. I mean, coming to the conclusion all of a sudden as a junior in high school that I didn't have any friends. Because if you remember, those were the only guys I hung out with. We were that tight-knit group. But after a while, I kind of got over it, and I thought, you know what, no big deal. I'll just go back to school and I'll just make some new friends, right? Except then, as I went back to school, over the next few weeks, I actually came to an even more frightening realization when I came to the conclusion that my friends and I, we must have been like the cool guys or the popular guys or whatever at our school, because it seemed like soon my friends' thoughts and feelings about me and the things they said about me sent shockwaves through the whole school, and it wasn't long before everybody seemed to have a problem with me. Now you probably think I'm overreacting, but I'll give you some evidence. You see, my senior year of high school, we had a winter homecoming at our school. Do you guys have a winter homecoming? What's that? You do? Do you have a winter dance? A winter dance? It's just the winter dance. Okay, well, so you guys have a homecoming in the fall, right? Where you elect a queen. Okay, so we did that in the fall, like we elected a homecoming queen. But in the winter, we also had a winter homecoming, except in the winter, we had a homecoming king, and it wasn't based on an election like in the fall. It was based on whichever senior guy raised the most money for charity that year was crowned king. Well, I just so happened to raise the most money for charity, and at the winter homecoming dance, my senior year, when I was announced as the winner and the new homecoming king, I was, I kid you not, booed by the entire student body of my high school. Yes. And I'll be honest with you, it was pretty rough. Seriously, it was a tough time. It was a lonely time, and I'll tell you the truth, there were a lot of points during that time in my life that I seriously felt like breaking my commitment. Seriously, there were a lot of times that I really felt like just going and being one of the guys. There was one time especially that I'll never forget. It was after a home basketball game at my school. After everything had gone down with me and my friends, that one of those guys in that small group actually came up to me and said, Joel, here's the deal, man. Dude, if we could just see you take a drink, everything would be cool. And I'll tell you, it was really tempting. But I'll be honest, it wasn't long before I had some new friends, and believe it or not, I actually found some much better friends going through that experience, probably because I went through that experience. I found those friends who are friends of mine to this day. And it wasn't long before my commitment really started to pay off, because pretty soon the head coach of the Ohio State football team walked right through the front doors of my small high school along with an entourage, and he offered me a full football scholarship. And not long after that, I got to go to Ohio State. And my first year there, we actually won a national championship. And they gave me this ring. I don't know if you can see it all the way in the back. Can you see it, Tyler? It's a national championship ring. And I tell you what, every day when I put on this ring, you see it now? Every day when I put on this ring, well, first let me tell you what I don't think about, okay? When I put on this national championship ring, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really spend time thinking about how tough it was to keep my commitment. You know, I don't think about how tough it was to do the push-ups and sit-ups, or how tough it was to lose some friends in school. I don't think about that stuff, because when I put on this ring, what I think about is how grateful I am, not just that I made a commitment, but how grateful I am that I actually kept that commitment. And so I wanted to come here today and encourage you guys, yes, make the right commitments, but here's the thing. I mean, you guys know what the right commitments are. You know what the right choices are. I don't need to tell you. So yes, make the right commitments, but more importantly, once you say you're going to do something, follow through, stand your ground, and just do what you say you're going to do. It's actually really simple. When you have some time to think, just think through the tough decisions you know you're going to face in life, and make the decisions, the commitments, now. Say now. 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 Now spelled backwards is? Hold up. Hold up. There was like one dude that said one, and everybody else was like, wow. That's not right. It's one. Say one. One. It's embarrassing. Guys, here's the thing. If you make the commitments now, then when you're in the situation, in a way you've already won, because at that point your mind's already made up. The only thing left is standing your ground. But that's the other thing. At some point, you've got to figure out how to stand your ground when all the pressure's on. And that's why I did the experiment at the beginning. I hope you guys are paying attention to this experiment, because I tell you, no matter where I go, no matter who I'm talking to, all over the country, it's always the exact same result. And it's kind of hilarious. You guys see what happened out here? Every time it's the same. Everybody's kind of like standing together, kind of huddled up. And I say blah, 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 agree or disagree. Do you see what happened? It wasn't like, oh yeah, I disagree. No, first thing everybody does is say agree or disagree. They kind of look to the person beside them like, psst, psst. What are we supposed to do? Do you think we should go? Well, I do too. Okay, go then. No, you go. Okay, we'll go together. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. And like one of them takes a step, and then they make sure their friend takes a step, and they're like, here we go. And then there's always like a couple random dudes, like just milling around in the back. I can't even tell if they're paying attention. They're just like, and I say blah, 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 agree or disagree, but they're still just like, and then everybody starts to leave, and they're like, who are you? You know, but my favorite, there's always a couple girls who must be friends or something, because they like stand beside each other the whole time. And I say blah, 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 agree or disagree. And the first thing they do, they like get angry. And they're like, not moving. We're not moving. Well, then one starts to leave, and they're like, we're moving. You know, but here's what you can see. I mean, seriously though, you can see people down here literally making their decisions entirely based on what people around them are doing. But guys, listen, I'll tell you what I've learned in my life. If you want to do something significant in life, a lot of times you're going to have to stand your ground. And believe it or not, sometimes you're going to have to stand it alone. But I'm telling you, if you're willing to do that, if you're willing to be a little bit different, you can do something incredible if you just make the right commitments and stand your ground and keep those commitments. Now guys, real quick, let me tell you the two reasons that I shared my story with you from when I was in school. The first reason I wanted to share my story, I did want to come here today and share something positive with you guys. I don't know if this is still the case, but when I was in school and it came to these issues, it seemed like all I heard were really like negative things. Like these dudes would come to my school to speak to us and they'd like yell at us. And they'd be like, if you do drugs, or you drink alcohol, you will die. Maybe that's true, I don't know. But guys, I wanted to let you know that if you make the right commitments and keep them, not only will you avoid the negative stuff, but you'll achieve some positive results. And the second reason I wanted to tell you my story, I did want you to know it's possible to do the right thing. When I was in school, sometimes it didn't even seem possible to do the right thing when it seemed like everybody was messing up. You know, I wondered, but I got through it. It is possible. And so, you know, I can tell there's all kinds of people here. I know there's a whole group of you in this gym right now that I might as well not be talking to. Like, I get it. I know there's a group that no matter what I say or do, you've made up your mind. I get it. I know there's another group that no matter what I say or do, or anybody says or does, you're going to do the right thing, and that's great. But I also know there's a third group. There's a big group of you that you're in the midst of making some tough decisions, tough commitments right now. You might be wondering the same two things I was wondering in school. Doing the right thing, is it really worth it? And is it even possible? I wanted to come here today, having gone through it, let you know what I learned. It's more than worth it. It's definitely possible. Best part about it, it's up to you. You can do something incredible, make the right commitments, follow through, and stand your ground. Guys, I appreciate you so much. I want to wish you the best. Hold up. Before we're entirely done, though, I want to introduce you to a good friend of mine, a musician from Columbus, Ohio. For the last few years, he and I have been traveling the country, and we're really excited that we're actually going to be right back here in this gym tonight, where you guys will be able to come out and hear this guy play a full concert. He was kind enough to join me this afternoon to play one song, so make some noise for Ryan Holiday. All right, guys, as I said, that concert is tonight. It's right here in the gym. I know this afternoon the guys are just playing their acoustic set, but tonight they'll break out the rest of the sound and lights and drums. And full setup should be pretty cool. I'll be here. I'll share a little bit more of my story. It starts at 7:30. I think that maybe the posters say 7 o'clock, but it starts at 7:30 right here. And what's really cool is due to some very generous people, all the tickets for tonight's concert have been paid for, and so admission is free. And speaking of free, I have some free stuff. Does anybody here like free stuff? All right, so what do I have? Here's a copy of my first book. Hold on, it's called Stand Your Ground. It's got a lot of other stories from my life. My favorite chapter is chapter 6, Joel and the Hot Gymnast, which is all about me and my wife, who just so happens to be smoking hot. So, quick question, how many of you know how to read? About a third of you, okay, that's not very good. Who would like this copy? This is a size small. Also, not too long ago, Ryan released his latest album. It's called Merrill. This could like hit you in the eyeball and food. Who's willing to take that risk? So just hold up real quick. Not too long ago, I released my newest book. It's called 7 Lies Almost Every Teen Believes. I'm excited about it. Now, I'm actually not going to throw this one out because what's really cool is those same generous people that paid for all the tickets for tonight's concert also, believe it or not, purchased enough copies of my newest book so that everyone who comes to the concert tonight can actually have your very own free copy of my newest book, 7 Lives. So that is tonight at 7:30, right here in the gym. Concert sponsored by the Fellowship of Christian Athletes tonight, right here. Now we have a few minutes. How about this? Let's do like just a few questions and then maybe a song request for Ryan to close us out. So first, just a few questions. Any questions about anything for me or for Ryan? Way up top, you're gonna have to shout it so I can hear it.
Take my place.
Say it again. I didn't hear it. Shout it again real loud. Another one of those albums? I don't have any right now, but all that stuff I just gave out, that'll all be available tonight. So we will give some things away, like throw some stuff out, but some stuff you can buy tonight if you want. Good question. Yep, over there. Say it again. How did I find another set of friends? You don't think I can find friends? No, I mean, you know what I found out is because that group and I, we were so close, like, I just didn't really hang out with other people, and when, I lost my friends like that, all of a sudden, even in classes and around school, I was just able to meet new people and start hanging out with new people, and I just found friends that way. I mean, it was a process, but I just kind of happened. Good question. Right here, dude. Can I squat a house? I mean, it depends on the size of the house. So, good question. Yeah, dude. How much can I bench? More than you. I don't know. So when I was in college, like we wouldn't do the 1 rep max because it's kind of dangerous. I was actually spotting a guy one time when he was trying to do like 515 or something on 1 rep on bench, and his pec muscle actually tore away from his shoulder while he was, you're welcome to that. So what we did was the 225 test, as many reps as you can do, 225, my best was like 26 reps or something. So, I don't know, whatever that means. Good question. One more question, last question. Yes, right here. Yeah, what made me decide to do public speaking? Good question. I actually started speaking when I was in high school, and I started speaking in churches. And so, I'm a Christian, and so it was really the desire to share my faith that really got me into speaking from the very beginning. So, good. Good questions. Let's close with a song request. Just shout out any request whatsoever. Shout it out. We'll see if I can play it. Shout out any request. What do you guys want to hear?
All right, hold up. I heard a few things, okay? First of all, that dude shouted out Miley Cyrus. That's weird, man. And then I hear somebody else. I thought it was some dude over here somewhere that shouted out Bieber. Really? There's Miley Cyrus and the dude that wants me to play Justin Bieber? What kind of school is this? No, okay, yeah, so, here's the thing though, here's the thing you should know, okay? I will never play Justin Bieber. So, whoever said that can like remove themselves right now. No, I'm just kidding. Did I hear somebody shout out Journey? Journey, yeah, what Journey song? Don't Stop Believing? Yeah, I'll do a little Don't Stop Believing. But, I would kind of like to have like 3 of you guys come down here and help me sing Don't Stop Believing. Got the Miley Cyrus man, that dude. How about that dude right there? That guy, yeah. Yeah, come on down here. All right, here we go. Come on down here. Okay, that's okay. Now, why don't you guys name, okay?
Tanner Pettit, they call me Muskrat.
Scott Thomas Arneson. Lucas John Lee. Give up for these guys right here.
I've got to get a video of this. I will be videoing it.
Just a small town girl, living in a lonely world. She took a midnight train anywhere. Just a city girl, born and raised in Merrill, Wisconsin. She took a midnight train anywhere. Don't stop believing. Oh, to that dream, street lights, people. Don't stop believing. Oh, to that dream, street lights, people. Thank you, Merrill, Wisconsin, for being here all week. Thanks so much to these guys right here.
Scott. Hey, Scott, dude. That was magical. All right, guys. Again, that concert is tonight at 7:30 right here. As you leave, you are going to be handed a ticket for tonight's concert. Now, here's the thing with the ticket. Here's the thing with the ticket. You don't need the ticket to get in. It's just a reminder to hold on to it because you're actually going to exchange it tonight for your free copy of my newest book. And the ticket says 7 o'clock, but it's not a 7, it's a 7:30. Does the concert start at 7? What time does it start? All right, grab a